During the first E3 after Bethesda was acquired by Xbox in 2021, a new Arcane game was announced, Redfall. A brand new Arcane title with a big budget thanks to Xbox footing the bill. The hype train had left the station as soon as that debut trailer finished. After several delays and Xbox marketing the game as its first AAA release in 2 years, Redfall is here, and it's terrible. Hi, I'm Mason, and today on Amateur Game Review, we're talking about Redfall. This is going to be rough. I've been an Arcane fanboy for over 10 years now, ever since I played the first Dishonored back in 2012. And as much as I hate to say it, Zach is right. I am a bit of an Xbox fanboy.
Oh, come on, Mason. That's not a big deal. Everyone already knew that you were a giant fanboy.
Dude, get out of here.
Hey, man, I'm proud of you. That's not acceptance is the first. Okay, I'm going. Jesus.
Alright, where was I? Redfall had the chance to be Arcane's best game yet now that they practically have an unlimited budget thanks to Microsoft. But my god, it is such a massive step backwards on every level when compared to Dishonored and Prey. Gone are the intricate, interconnected levels that seem as if they could actually be lived in by its populace, having been replaced by an open world that is absolutely fucking lifeless. The more realistic choices of Dishonored and thought-provoking themes of Prey have disappeared to make way for a narrative that hardly exists outside of the words scribbled on a safe house's blackboard. There is so much wrong about Redfall, but I'm reminded of how a few weeks ago, it was announced that Redfall would only have a 30 frames per second quality mode on release for the Xbox Series consoles. That is definitely a disappointment. I'm not a fan of first-person games at 30 frames per second, but I'm lucky enough to have a great PC, so I can at least work around that. A 60 frames per second performance mode was promised to be on the way after launch, so eventually that problem would be solved anyway. However, the frame rate is the least major issue with this game. With that said, get ready everyone, let's dive into Redfall.
Not like there's anything else going on.
That's it, precisely.
I want to start this review on a positive note, since this is going to be a mostly negative review anyways. The two aspects I like about Redfall are its graphics and its setting. Arcane are known for the oil-painted art style they give their games, and Redfall is no different. It's not as prominent as their previous work, but the art design is still one of Arcane's strong points. Redfall, Massachusetts looks so cozy in the fall time. Oddly enough, since the sun has been blocked out by vampires, Arcane seems to have taken inspiration from Salem's Lot by Stephen King, one of my favorite books of his, and I love the TV film based off it as well. Some of the vampires' appearances are even inspired by the vampire in Salem's Lot, which in turn was inspired by the silent classic Nosferatu. I've always been a fan of this style of vampire, so I was happy to see it appear in the game.
Vampire fan club incoming.
I'm a sucker for cozy small towns with dark secrets hidden within them. There's not many games that feature this setting, and it's a huge letdown to me because the town of Redfall could have been packed with environmental storytelling and meticulous detail that Arcane is known for, but instead the town is mostly empty and lifeless, like the vampires inside of the town.
You're just food.
I do enjoy the town of Redfall. It's not bad. Every building you enter is unique, and I never felt like I was entering the same building twice. But there's no reason to explore these locales outside of the missions. There's no reward other than the same loot and a possible new fast travel point. There's simply no meaningful reward to explore the world. There's hardly any NPCs to talk to other than vendors at a safe house, and what NPCs are in the town are the same human cultists that you fight throughout the game.
Ain't nothing left to do but cut out and grab some gear. Maybe save some idiots in the process.
When I think of Arcane's previous works, I imagine the verticality and intertwined level design with real-world logic to make them seem like they could be lived in. Example, let's say you find a guard patrolling the area, and he has a key. You have two choices: kill him and take the key, or carefully steal it from his belt loop. This key might open a door that contains a safe with loot, or open up a path to reach your objective. Or you enter someone's home, and you find a note giving you a hint about how to take down a target in Dishonored. These details bring out the game world, giving it some supplemental storytelling as well as rewarding the player with a way to help them. It gives the player some incentive to pay attention to the game world. Even Wolfenstein Youngblood, which was a collaborative effort between Machine Games and Arcane, was considered a mediocre to bad game, and it even features this level design philosophy. However, none of this exists within Redfall. Your ways of entry are the front door, back door, and occasionally the roof. If you see a locked door or something to hack, just buy a lockpick or a rewire tool from the store. Unless it's mission required, then there's probably one lying around lazily close to your objective. there's no sense of fulfillment or joy when exploring anything in what is an actually interesting town. It's such a waste of a good location for a game. If I see something cool off in the distance in Redfall, my first instinct is to wait until the mission or side quest requires me to go there because it would be a waste of time until that's activated.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god.
The story and main mission structure of Redfall is more bland than the open world. Most of the story is told through 2D cutscenes that I guess are okay, but they are out of place for something with a AAA budget. The trailers are 3D and cinematic, so why are the cutscenes for the actual game in 2D animation? It's cool that they change slightly depending on what character the host plays as, but that's minimal. Who cares? They could have had a system like Fallout where you chat with the NPCs, or preferably interactive cutscenes in real time like Half-Life. There's very few characters to talk to anyway, and you rarely have to talk to them at all. They don't give out side quests, you don't have to talk to most of them to buy equipment, they're just there. No different than the decor that surrounds them. The way you receive missions, both the main and side quests, are through the blackboards located around the various safe houses. That's it. Occasionally you'll get a one-liner or a voice on the radio, but the bulk of the description is through the blackboards. To be completely honest with you, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know what the end goal is besides kill the lead vampire and get out of Redfall, I guess. Every mission just features the same structure and they all run together to the point I can't differentiate them in my head. It's always go to this spot, kill a vampire, or find this thing, teleport back to the safe house, repeat. There's literally no difference. Even the side quests blend into the main quest in my head, and it doesn't help because some of the side quests are actually necessary to beat the game, like finding the vampire underboss skulls to cleanse a neighborhood. Cleansing a neighborhood is on the same level as fixing a popcorn popper? Well, according to Redfall, it is.
Jesus. Can I just watch?
What can I tell you about Redfall's narrative is this. There was a girl who had special blood. She went to Redfall to let doctors and scientists take her blood, but they took too much. This somehow created the vampires that haunt the island, and now you're trapped and must slay them. That's all that has stuck with me, and I don't see it getting any better as the game goes on.
But the monsters who started all this weren't having it.
Most first impressions of Redfall was that the game would be similar to Left 4 Dead, but with vampires instead of zombies. Arcane quickly refuted this and stated that Redfall is their take on Far Cry, and I do believe that's true. I've recently played both Far Cry 5 and 6, and I can definitely see the influence despite the issues. The game can be played up to 4 players total, and just like the rest of the game, the multiplayer has its own issues. Progression is only tied to the host, meaning the other players have to progress their own campaigns and can only bring back whatever loot they gain as well as level up. There's no drop in it or drop out either, so you can only start co-op before the missions begin. And to make matters worse, if you just want to play single player, it's still online only. And just like the performance patch, offline mode is supposedly coming in the future as well.
Of course.
You can select one of 4 playable characters, each one with their own special abilities. I chose Jacob, the Deadeye with the Undead, according to the selection screen, because I wanted to play stealthy. Arcane is known for making a stealth game, so stealth should be great. Unfortunately, it's not. Arcane somehow managed to mess up the one gameplay aspect they're good at. Watch this clip. This will explain it all.
So they only want the blood if they're still alive. Look at her! She ain't even breathing!
That's your stealth attack? A pat on the butt. No special animation, not even a special ass pat animation. How do you mess this up? You made Dishonored, you made Deathloop. Both games had stealth attack animations. The AI are some of the dumbest I've seen to date. I actually abandoned my stealth playthrough because it wasn't worth wasting time. You can be standing right next to an enemy and sometimes they won't react at all. In combat, I've caught cultists just running away. They were made for this game. They don't even want to be in it. There's times I stood still while surrounded by enemies and I only got shot once or twice, and I'm pretty sure those were on accident. If I were a vampire, I'd want some competent minions, not someone who makes a stormtrooper's aim look good. I'd say the gunplay is solid, and it is, but I don't even think that matters at this point. Everything from the gameplay to the storyline and exploration is such a letdown with Redfall. It should be fun hunting down vampires, but after a while, it gets old because they're just one of 2 enemy types, the other being the cultists. What's funny though is killing a vampire with a stake has its own animation, but not stealth attacks. You don't even have to use a stake if you don't want to. You can find UV weapons or flare guns to kill them just as quick, if not quicker. The loot pool isn't interesting either. You have your shotguns, assault rifles, snipers, pistols, you name it. And of course the UV and stake weapons for vampires. The game has loot all over the map, and of course as a reward for doing missions, or bought from a vendor at a safe house. But to be honest, the loot is plentiful enough from mission rewards and exploration, as well as all really being the same, just at higher levels. I could never justify buying weapons from the vendors. I spent most of my money on the lockpicks and rewire tools just to have a decent supply. And even then, none of the guns really jump out at me. They're all basically the same, just with higher attributes as the guns level up.
You'll find the greatest games.
This was a rough review. I felt like I was roasting my own child. Even though I didn't think it would be Arkane's best by the previews, I had faith that it would at least be a solid 7 out of 10 game with an interesting world to explore with the love and care that they've put into their work before Redfall. Instead, we get a poor man's Far Cry that is so bare bones it has more in common with an in-house pitch demo for executives than a full release. If Redfall started life as a live service game, then maybe Arkane can go back to that idea and patch the game to give it some life and fix its issues. As of right now though, I cannot recommend Redfall at all. Not at $70 US, nor by downloading it from Game Pass. If Arkane fixes the game after a year, maybe it'll be worth a shot. As of right now, save your hard drive space for one of the many other releases coming up in 2023. Side note, but God, I hope Starfield doesn't turn out like this. I'm getting worried about it now. This is embarrassing for Xbox. Redfall was the encore for their 2021 E3 event. This is the game that made them say,
"But wait, there's more!"
This is what I've waited 2 years for? What the hell, Xbox?
So, that was fun, right?
Thank you so much for watching. What are your thoughts on Redfall? Do you think it's disappointing, or do you think it's an underrated gem? Let us know down in the comments. Or if you want to see more reviews, subscribe. We're just 3 friends who started this channel to share our love for video games. So every sub or you watching our videos helps this channel grow. You can even find us on Twitter and Instagram if you feel so inclined. Thanks again, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.